Alright guys, today we're going to be talking about a play called the Zero Blitz. So the Zero Blitz is basically a blitz in which you bring one more rusher than the other team can handle, and you basically play man coverage everywhere else across the board. So the idea of the Zero Blitz is to force a negative offensive play, obviously, but by bringing pressure. So let's start with a simple setup that I have here. 5 linemen. You got the quarterback, the running back. You got your 2 receivers on each side. You got 2x2 set, right? 2 on each side. Then you got 4 defensive linemen. So 4-3 defense. You got 3 backers. And as you see, I kind of have a man coverage setup, or a man coverage look. Corner on both sides on the number 1 receivers, and then the safeties. Man up on the other 2. So it looks clearly here, you got man coverage across the board, and you got a 4-3 defense lined up. So the Zero Blitz, the name explained, is obviously a blitz where you're trying to bring one more rusher than they can block. So that means, if they got 5 linemen, then you're trying to bring 6 guys. So you got 4, and maybe the Sam comes around the edge and the Mike hits the center, or maybe it could be maybe it's the Will comes around the edge, right? You could do that, or you could go Sam and the Will, they both come around the edge. Your tackles collapse inside, and your ends collapse inside as well. You try to get around with 5 linemen blocking. Let's say this backer, he goes on a route. He wouldn't ever be that wide, but you get the idea. The backer doesn't stay, or the running back doesn't stay in coverage or in block, in pass block. So yeah, you're trying to rush more than they can block. Now, if this running back, this is the quarterback, if this running back stays in blocking, he stays to block, then that means they got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blockers, right? Let me just number them so you can see. Number 6, right? You got 6 blockers. So you're trying to bring 7. So you got 4, your lineman here, and this Mike's gonna come down as well. So you're gonna have 7. Now the rule for the Zero Blitz is that you never rush more than 7 guys. Because what happens if you do that is you're gonna be bringing, first of all, you're gonna be bringing your 4-3, your entire front 7, and then you gotta pull like a safety on a blitz, and that means this guy has got a free route. You just can't afford to do that. The quarterback's gonna take like a 3-step drop. He's just gonna fling it, and you're smoked. So you never bring more than 7. That's the rule. You always bring one more than they can block, but you never bring more than 7. 7 is the limit, all right? And then the word 0 in the play called Zero Blitz means that there are 0 free safeties here. You see the safety has come down here, and the other safety's down here. Maybe you got an extra defensive back in the game, but no one's going to be deep. No deep safeties, all right? So you really are vulnerable to the deep ball because everyone's on man. So, if you're not a good man team, you better have a really, really strong front 7, or maybe a star player on your, one of your started linemen, maybe a D-end who's got a really quick get off, who can get after the quarterback, right? Because you gotta understand maybe that the quarterback, if he diagnoses this Zero Blitz, he might hold back everyone in protection, right? So he keeps their back in protection. You got 5 linemen. Now he knows it's man everywhere else. If you got man on this safety and he's not a good cover, he's not a good man guy, and this number 2 runs a inside post, the quarterback's gonna take 3-step drop, and he's just gonna fling it, and it's a go-ahead touchdown from there on. So that's the Zero Blitz. Real quick, we want to talk about how you can beat it. We just talked about one example right there, the post, inside post. So that's going to be a deep post because the quarterback doesn't have much time, right? Because since you're always bringing one more than they can block, that means one guy's coming off the edge, unblocked. He's getting to the quarterback. The quarterback's getting hit, It's just a matter of if your quarterback can take the hit, stand in there, and deliver a good ball downfield. And the other part of that is that because it's going to be man everywhere else, if you're trying to beat the Zero Blitz, one of your receivers has got to be really fast. So you're talking about wide receiver screens, right? Maybe he goes into block, bubble, he catches it and he goes. Or, maybe catches the screen and this guy, he blocks or he goes up here. Maybe you can bring the back on this side now, right? And he goes out there and he blocks there, right? There's a lot of different things you can do for the screen. But the bottom line is you got to have a fast guy who's going to catch a screen because it's man all the way, right? So the minute he gets that ball, he's going to have to use his speed to get into space and, just turn on the jets from there. So speed is really the key if you're trying to beat Zero Blitz. Quarterback's got to diagnose it. Your quarterback's got to understand the situation. He's got to be able to get out of his 3-step drop and make that throw pretty quickly because he's getting hit. Remember, the guy's coming off the edge. They're always going to be rushing one more than you can handle. So yeah, you got 2 ways to beat it would be the screen, like I said, and then the deep post. So that's how that would work. So just a quick tip, if you leave in 7 people to protect, so maybe let's say this safety, maybe you got a tight end here, and you got a safety out here, right? Strong safety, something like that. And this tight end, he stays in the block as well. That means they got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 in the running back. That's max protection. That's max protect. So that means that with 7 protecting, you still got to be really fast because if anyone gets beat, and that's more than likely, right? Because if you're leaving a running back to maybe protect a Sam backer off the edge or something like that, someone's going to get beat. So you got to be fast in max protection. And then it goes without saying in a normal Zero Blitz where you lose the numbers battle in terms of protection. So deep post, wide receiver screens are good Zero Blitz beaters. A good example of this, I'm trying to think of a good example. I would say, if I remember correctly, they don't actually play very often, but Packers versus the Patriots, Rodgers, he got the ball, recognized Zero Blitz. I'm pretty sure this was Gilmore. Maybe Gilmore might have been inside, might have flexed a tight end out here in the number 1, a corner, maybe bring an extra corner into the game. Gilmore was right here, and I forget who it was. I want to say it's Devontae Adams, but that's just because that's the first name off your top of your head when you think about Packers receivers right now. But I'm pretty sure this was, I think it was a 2018-19 season, and Rodgers calls for max protect. So he brings in 7 guys to protect this guy, maybe a tight end who blocks or something like that. And he just, might have been Valdez-Scantling actually, runs a post and he beats the corner. Deep ball, no one's deep, right? It was quick, it was good. I don't think it went for a touchdown, but it was a pretty big game. So if you want to look up that highlight, Packers Patriots 2018-19, I feel like that was a primetime game. So yeah, you can look up that highlight to see this Zero Blitz in action. You'll see it coming. you'll see the rushers from the Patriots and Rodgers throw that bomb. There is another effect of the zero blitz is if you don't get home to the quarterback, you still make it difficult for him. So I talked about it earlier. The quarterback's got to be pretty quick, and he's got to be good at it. He's got to be pretty efficient with his 3-step drop, or however many steps you teach him to take on these, and put the ball, put it, make a money, make a pretty good throw, right? Because what the zero blitz is often going to force quarterbacks to do, and it's going to start with their drops, or at least when they throw, right when they do throw, they're going to take that drop. They're going to see so many rushers, they're just going to fling it. So this guy's going to run a post, right? I think a really good example of this was week 5 against the Patriots as well. Sam Darnold. So you got Aaron Rodgers, successfully completing the post, and you got Sam Darnold, which I'm pretty sure in that game, it was a week 5 game, 2019. This was a season in which everyone thought the Patriots were going to do so well because they were undefeated for the longest time. Their defense was going nuts. This was week 5 early on, and this was the Ghosts game. He was seeing ghosts. He threw 6 picks or something like that, 5 picks. And often the zero blitz results in sacks or incompletions or interceptions like it did in that game. And Darnold, all night long, I think it was a Monday night game or something like that. It was Jets-Patriots. Darnold would take, his drop back. He'd see the zero blitz, and then he'd fling one down, and it would be off his back foot. And you never want to do that as a quarterback. Just throw it away, take the sack. Don't throw off your back foot. And he'd throw off his back foot. And I think it was all night. Whoever it was who was covering the guy who was throwing to, just undercut the route. It would be an underthrown ball because he's throwing off his back foot, bad throw, and he'd pick it off. And that explains. If you go watch the tape, go search up the highlights. You see that game 2018, 19, or it might have been I actually want to say the 2019 season, 2019-2020 season, week 5, Jets, Patriots, where Darnold threw 5 picks, and a lot of that was because of the zero blitz. And of course, a lot of the other disguises the Patriots put on, different defensive schemes that the Patriots had that night. But there's some pretty good examples of Darnold throwing off his back foot, making a mistake, and the zero blitz being the main reason for those mistakes that night. So this was more of a, I hope so, it was more of a quicker video, but that's the zero blitz. Yeah, it's not the best handwriting right here, but it'll do. So yeah, that's the zero blitz explained again. 0 safeties deep, man across the board. You're always sending one more than the offense can protect. If the offense goes into a 7-man protection, that's max protection. The defense should not. It's suggested that the defense does not send any more. And again, plays to beat it are deep posts, wide receiver screens, and some examples I talked about was Darnold and the Jets against the Patriots in week 5 of 2019-2020 season, and then Rodgers successfully doing it, unlike the Jets, beating the zero blitz on a deep post. And then those receivers to beat the zero blitz, they've got to be pretty fast. So they've got to be, your really low, pretty low 4-4 guys, 4-3 guys. If you got a 4-2 guy and you recognize the zero blitz, see it's coming, and it's on. It is on all day. You just got to make sure the ball is on the money, and make sure you're not throwing off your back foot. So that was just a recap of this video, and we'll see you guys in the next one.